Yes, hello, welcome back to the Rugby League Forecast podcast. This is now official. It is round one. We had Vegas over the weekend and victories to the Newcastle Knights over the Cowboys and, of course, the Bulldogs in Golden Point with a Stephen Crichton field goal over the St. George Illawarra Dragons. This is the third match of the season. This will occur tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time between the Melbourne Storm and the Parramatta Eels. Both games will be on Fox League KO. This game will be on Fox League KO Sports. And also, you can catch it on Channel 9, I believe, on Thursday Night Football. Let's have a look at the Melbourne Storm lineup. Now, I'll do my round preview on Thursdays. So remember, Tuesdays each round, the review. I did a Vegas review yesterday. If you haven't heard that one yet, please check it out. Every Wednesday, I'll go through all the team lists. And Thursday, of course, I will preview every single round. Let's go through the Melbourne Storm team for round one in season 2026. Number one, replacing Ryan Pappenhausen is Sualava Fayalongo, William Warbrick, and Nick Meaney on the wings, Jack Howarth and Moses Leo in the centres. Cameron Munster at 6, Jerome Hughes at 7, Stefano, Harry Grant, Josh King, 11, Joe Chan, 12, Atavalu Lasardi, and 13, Alec McDonald, 14, Tyron Wishart, 15, Cooper Clark, 16, Tui Kamakamika, 17, David Mawali at the Melbourne Storm for a one-year deal, and they are coached by Craig Bellamy. I'll go through their 18 and 19 as well. Preston Con at 18. Don't know much about Preston Con. And Sulagi Tuamalu to Brown. So he's in the number 19. Don't know overly too much about him either. But that's how Melbourne line up. So remember, Trent Lorero's out. He's suspended for the opening couple of weeks. No Eli Katoa. Ryan Pappenhausen has left. No Nelson Asofa Solomona. So a few outs for Melbourne, but this is going to be likely their team for the majority of the year. Of course, Xavier Coates is injured for at least the first couple of months of the season. I think it's an Achilles injury. So, but it's not a full. He didn't tear it completely. He didn't. So he'll be back around round 12, I think. So let's go through the Eels team right now. We've got at number 1 Isaiah Iongi, 2 Bailey Simonson, 5 Sean Russell, Will Penasini, number 3, 4 Brian Kelly down from the Gold Coast, I should say. 6 Jonah Pezzett, 7 Mitchell Moses, 8 Jermaine Hopgood, 9 Riley Smith, 10 Junior Paulo, 11 Jack Williams, 12 Katoni Katonga, and 13 Jack DeBellum playing his debut match for the Parramatta Eels. 14 Dylan Walker, Sam Tuavati, 15, 16 Matt Dury, 17 Talenda Silva, and 18 Kelma Talangi, and 19 Joash Popoleti. I really like the 18 and 19 selections there for Parramatta. Kelma Talangi can play second row. That's his best position. He could also cover lock or front row if he really needed to. And of course, Joash Papali, in my opinion, the future 5'8" of this club. He can play either fullback, 5'8", halfback, put him in there anywhere in the centres or on any wing as well. So he can cover anything in the backs there if there is a head knock or some sort of injury early on within the game. Really surprised that Jordan Samrani did not make this squad. He's number 20, but he probably won't play in this game. So, yeah, I thought his preseason trial was absolutely fantastic. On Friday night, we've got the Warriors and Roosters at Go Media Stadium, 6 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. This is how the Warriors line up. At fullback, Shans Nicole Klokstad. The 2 wingers, Dallin Wateni's Lesniak, and number 5, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. And the centres, Ali Leatua and 4, Adam Pompey. The halves, Chanel Harris-Tavita. What an outstanding season he had alongside Luke Metcalf in season 2025 for the majority of that season. Number 7, Tanner Boyd. Luke Metcalf was originally going to come back around round 7, round 8. Now, apparently he's going to come back within the next few weeks. So that's a huge boost for Warriors fans. 8, James Fisher-Harris, 9, Wade Egan, 10, Jackson Ford, 11, Kurt Capewell, 12, Jacob Laban, and 13, Aaron Clark, 14, Sam Healy, 15, Dominic Vaumunga, 16, Laka Halasema, 17, Tanner Stowers-Smith, 18, Tane Tuapiki, and 20, the Super League player Morgan Gannon. So he actually did all right in the first game of the preseason against Manly. I thought he was one of the Warriors' best in a disappointing outfit. Cam Pereira number 21. Luke Hanson, 22. Pretty sure Luke Hanson's the young half that they've got big raps on. Eddie Iremi at 23, but those blokes won't get a game. The only thing I'm really surprised about here is Leka Halasema coming on from the bench. For me personally, I think Kurt Capewell is probably at the last year or two of his career. Probably better now for him to come from the bench, come on from the bench. Maybe if he was at number 16, because he can also cover the centres as well. Put him on a wing if you're really, really short. He can cover second row lock. Obviously, second row is his best position, but I think Leka Halasema has done enough in season 2025 to suggest that he deserves a starting spot and to play 80 minutes. He's just so powerful. I get where they're coming from, but I'm surprised he'll start the season from the bench. I reckon within after 2 months of this rugby league season, Leka Halasema will be starting consistently for the New Zealand Warriors, which is really exciting stuff. Let's have a look at the Roosters team. James Tedesco at fullback. On the Stings, Daniel Tupou and Mark Nawanga-Nitawase. The centres, Billy Smith and Robert Toyer. And the halves, Daly Cherry Evans in his number 6 jersey alongside Sam Walker. Nafahu White at 8. 9, Benaya Ialohu, who is replacing Reece Robson for the opening 10 weeks of the season, I believe. So 10, Lindsay Collins has got a hand injury. Broke his hand, I think. Lindsay Collins at 10. 11, Angus Crichton playing his final season for the Roosters before going off to rugby union. Nat Butcher at 12 and 13, Blake Steep. Of course, Steep will start in this game, replacing the suspended Victor Radley early on in the season. 14, Connor Watson. 15, Siwa Wong. 16, Egan Butcher. 17, Spencer Leniu. 18 are like this, Cody Ramsey. Hasn't played NRL for 3 seasons now. What a great story it will be to see him eventually play first grade at some point in season 2026. 19, Fatalangi Pauga. 20, Selesi Fiketti. 21, Tommy Talau. 22, Toby Rodwell, who did a great job in the trials as well. Rodwell. Let's go to the second game on Friday night between the Broncos and the Panthers, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Friday night football on 9, Fox League and KO Sports. This is how the Broncos line up. At 1, Reece Walsh. 2, Josiah Karapani. 3, Tony Staggs. 4, Jahamat Shibasaki. 5, Dean Mariner. 6, Ezra Mam. 7, Adam Reynolds. 8, Corey Jensen. 9, Corey Pakes. 10, Payne Haas. 11, Jack Gajewski. 12, Jordan Ricky. And 13, Patrick Carrigan. Jack Gajewski, of course, replacing the injured Brendan Piakura at the moment. Piakura expected to miss, I believe, up to 4 to 8 weeks. So that's what I last heard. Whether or not that's been updated within the last few days, I'm not too sure. Ben Hunt. I love this from Madge. Ben Hunt. I expected him to start at 9, but I love him coming from the bench. He's probably in his last couple of years, possibly his last season of NRL. The fact that he is on the 14 suggests, it's great to have him there. Can cover hooker, halfback. He just covers something. If Adam Reynolds goes down, which, no offense to him, is highly likely at the moment, at this back stage of his career, I really like Ben Hunt being the number 14 for season 2026. You've got Xavier Willison at 15, who of course can cover the edge, back row, and of course front row. Ben Tolte, who was outstanding last year for the Brisbane Broncos, and Alblix Tawa in the number 17 jersey from the Dolphins, around 27 years of age. Now, I love this from Madge. Grant Anderson at 18 and Jesse Arthurs at 19. So Grant Anderson, for me, he's just a Michael Maguire sort of a player, a tough player that will get the job done, get in a grind if he really needs to. Don't be surprised if we see Grant Anderson play a lot of football at stages, especially around the origin period in season 2026 for the Brisbane Broncos. 19, as I mentioned, Jesse Arthurs. 20, Blake Moser. 21, Jaden Hunt. And of course, 22, Thomas Duffy, that they bought as a backup half from the Cowboys. Massive raps on young Tom Duffy. Fuck, it's hot in this centre of excellence. Whoa, you can see it's steaming up. All right, number 1, Panthers, for the Panthers. Number 1, Dylan Edwards. 2, Paul Alamotti. On the other wing, 5, Brian Top. 3, Isaac Targo. 4, Casey Clean. The halves, Blaze Talangi and Nathan Cleary. Up front, Moses Leota, Mitch Kenny at 9, and Lindsay Smith at 10. The edge back row, we've got Scott Sorensen announced he's going to the Perth Bears in season 2027 and beyond. Congratulations to him. What a champion of a player he has been for the Penrith Panthers over many, many years. Luke Garner at number 12 and 13, locking the scrum. And as co-captain is Isaiah Yeo. 14, Jack Cogger. 15, Luron Patea, 16 Isaiah Papali'i, and 17 Kalani Going, who they have bought from the Warriors, a young lock forward coming through the ranks there now at Penrith. 18 Thomas Jenkins, unlucky to miss out on a starting spot. He did a great job when he started for Penrith in season 2025. Freddie Lussick, the young Manly junior, great to see him at Penrith. Big raps on this young, he's probably in his mid-20s now, but big raps on him from Penrith. Apparently, according to Nathan Cleary, he has been one of the best pre-season trainers at the Penrith Panthers. I think he'll get a lot of football in season 2026, Freddie Lussick, and I'm here to see it. 20, Billy Phillips. 21, Jack Cole, who thought he started the season well last year when he came into the halves, and Sione Fanua in number 2022. All right, only 2 games, guys, on Super Saturday this week, 5:30 at it's the Sharks and the Gold Coast Titans at Ocean Protect Stadium, Shark Park. Let's have a look at Cronulla Sharks at fullback, William Kennedy, the wingers, Sione Katoa and Sam Stonestreet in the centres, Jesse Ramian and KL Iro. The halves, Braden Trindle and Nico Hines up front, Aden Fanua Blake Brayley at number 9 and 10, Thomas Hazelton. On the edges, we've got Britton Nakora, 12, Billy Burns, and 13 lock in the scrum is Jesse Colquhoun, who did a great job in the final series for Cronulla last year with the absence of course, Cameron McInnes, their captain. What a job they did without him at the back stages of the year. Sifa Talakai at 14, 15 Toby Rudolph, 16 Oregon Kafusi, and 17 Braden Hamlin-Ueli, 18 Hohapa Puru, 19 Chris Failea, 20 Jaden Beryl, 21 Michael Gabriel, and 22 Nui Puru, I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if I got anything wrong there. Now, the Gold Coast Titans, as you know, if you've seen it already, the big out in this game is Jaden Campbell, expected to miss the opening month of season 2026. So I like his replacement here, and if I was the Titans coach, I would definitely have started with Lachlan Ilias in the number 7. But let's go through their team now. At fullback, Keanu Kinney, 2 Cialetti Faimana. I'm pretty sure this is the young kid making his debut. So really exciting there. 3 Jojo Fafita, 4 Max Feagai, 5 Philip Sammy, been at the Titans now for a long, long time. Want to see the best out of Philip Sammy in season 2026 as a rugby league fan. AJ Brimson at number 6, 7 Lachlan Ilias, 8 Mo Fotuaika. In my opinion, he needs to stand up this year in season 2026 and make his way back into the Origin team. 9 Sam Verrills, and 10 Tino 11 Aramo Howe, 12 Bo Firma, and 13 Chris Randall. On the bench, Curtis Moran from the Dogs, 14, a great 14, can cover hooker, lock, second row, and you can put him at front row, who'll do a job too. He reminds me a lot of Chris Randall, actually. Number 15, Tukimia Simpkins, 16, Clace Haas, and 17, Cooper Bye. I would have had Cooper Bye starting over Chris Randall, but I can understand where they're coming from there. Cooper Bye looked absolutely sensational in the preseason challenge for the Gold Coast Titans. Luke Summerton at 18, the young hooker, the young half Zane Harrison did a great job in the preseason trials in game 1. Pretty sure that was against the Dolphins. Jalen de Groot at fullback, 20, 21 Jensen Talmapaya, and 22 Josh Patson. Josh Patson, I'm surprised there were big raps on him. Surprised he's not starting on the edge. To be completely honest with you, for the Gold Coast Titans. Let's go to Manly and Canberra. You will catch this at Brookvale Oval, 4 Pines Park, 7:35 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Times, between the Manly Sea Eagles and the Canberra Raiders. Let's have a look at Manly's team to open the season for season 2026 in round 1. Tom Trbojevic at fullback, the 2 wingers, Jason Saab and Lehigh Hopewadi. In the centres, Tolu Kola and Ruben Garrick. In the halves, Luke Brooks, Jamal Fogarty. Up front, Taniela Paseka returning from an Achilles injury. 9, Jake Simpkin. 10, Siwa Takiaho. 11, Haumole Olakauatu. 12, Ben Trbojevic. And 13, lock in the scrum for Manly, Jake Trbojevic. 14, Joey Walsh. 15, Kobe Hetherington. 16, Ethan Bullimore. 17, Nathan Brown. 18, Clayton Faulolo, 19, Brandon Wakeham, 20, Corey Waddell, Blake Wilson at 21, and Paul Bryan has now been updated to the first grade squad on a full-time basis in the number 22 jersey. For the Canberra Raiders, some surprising stuff happening here. So we've got Ko Weeks named at fullback, Savelio Tamalo, the local Chroma Kingfishers boy. He's now on the wing for Canberra. He played a bit of centre in the trials. Sima Sasangi replacing Tomoko in the centres. 4, Sebastian Chris. 5, Xavier Savage. Simi Sasangi in the number 3 jersey, I should say. The halves, Ethan Strange and Ethan Sanders. Sanders gets the first crack in that number 7 jersey. We all know that he has pressure on him. Kobe Black, massive raps out of the Brisbane system. They've bought Kobe Black now to the Canberra Raiders, so he will be putting pressure on Sanders. I've got no doubt Sanders will start at least the first half of season 2026 in that number 7 jersey. Number 8, Josh Papali'i. 9, Tom Starling. 10, Joseph Tarpany. 11, Hudson Young. 12, Noah Martin. 13, Corey Horsburgh. On the bench, Jaden Brayley at 14, replacing Owen Paddy, who has been demoted down to New South Wales Cup for the weekend. Didn't really impress me, I've got to say, over the preseason challenge, Owen Paddy, so I can actually understand this selection. Jaden Brayley, he's not as good as Owen Paddy at this stage of his career, but he brings a lot of leadership and calmness, which I think they may need at a sold-out 4 Pines Park. So 15, Zach Hoskin. 16, Atta Mariota. 17, Morgan Smithies. 18, Dane Laurie. 19, Jed Stewart. 20, Matt Nicholson. 21, Matthew Tomoko. And 22, Owen Paddy. But those two boys, surprised they're not in the starting 17, to be honest. So, one game to go. Here we go. Sunday, March 8th, Dolphins and South Sydney Rabbitohs at Suncorp Stadium. Actually, you know what? I'm surprised about that. I thought it was actually going to be at KO Stadium at Redcliffe. It's at Suncorp Stadium. Wow. Okay. Let's have a look at this. The Dolphins team. At fullback, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow, the 2 wingers, Jermaine Asako and Selwyn Cobbo making his first grade debut for the Dolphins. We know he made his debut for the Broncos, I'm going to say, in about 2021. The centres, Jake Averillo wins that centre spot after a disappointing preseason challenge, I have to say, unfortunately. Herbie Farnworth, of course, was always going to start in that number 4 jersey for the Dolphins. In the halves, Cody Nikorima and Isaiah Katoa. Tom Gilbert, Kurt Donahue at number 9, replacing, of course, Jeremy Marshall-King, I should say, and Thomas Flegler wins that number 10 jersey. Corneli Lemalemu at 11, 12, Kuleki Fine Fuiaki, and 13, Morgan Knowles, the Super League player that on the bye round, Jimmy Graham had a huge rap on, played with him at St. Helens. Started to mention him before the Ashes last year. I watched him closely in the Ashes. He rushes up in defence. He adds a lot of aggression. Missed a few tackles over the preseason challenge, but I'll tell you what, I think if anything, he's going to be a really good buy for the Dolphins in season 2026. Also gives them a lot more depth in the forwards. They are, of course, missing Max Plath, who can cover hooker, lock forward. You can put him at prop. What a champion, Max Plath. Fuck, I wish Manly would buy him. He is such a good player. 14, Brad Schneider at 14. 15, Oren Keeley. 16, Felice Kafusi. 17, Trey Fuller. Love Trey Fuller being in the starting 17. I hope to see this be the case all year for season 2026. 18, Sebastian Sewer. 19, Brent Wolf. 20, Lewis Simons. And 21, Tavita Nafahu, and 22, Brian Panu'u. Rabbitohs team, fullback Jai Gray. Yes! Well done, Wayne Bennett, making Jai Gray the fullback for season 2026. You watch the Rabbitohs just go as Latrell Mitchell was back in the centres alongside Jack White. And on the Stings, you've got Alex Johnston and Campbell Graham, and the halves, Cody Walker and Ashton Ward. Up front, Tavita Totola, Bronson Garlick at 9, and 10, Keon Kalamatangi. 11, David Fafita. 12, Ewan Aitken, and 13, Cameron Murray. The lock forward is back. Played one game for the South Sydney Rabbitohs last year against the Sydney Roosters in round 27. The Rabbitohs lost that game, but it was great to see Cameron Murray play at least one game in season 2025. Peter Mamazoulis at 14, 15, Tallis Duncan, 16, Lachlan Hubner, 17, Sean Kepi, 18, Jaden Sullivan, 19, Moala Graham Tafua, Liam LeBlanc at 20, 21, Thomas Fletcher, the young second rower there at South Sydney, and 22, Bailey Bentley Harpe. They are coached by Wayne Bennett, and of course the Dolphins are coached by Christian Wolf. That is round 1. 6 games to go, guys. I cannot wait. If you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're listening to and hearing and watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Rugby League Forecast Podcast. That is Rugby League Forecast Podcast, or please follow on the Spotify app. Yeah. I struggle with that last part. All right, thanks, guys. That is the team list. I'll be back tomorrow for the it'll come out probably tomorrow night around 6:30, 7 p.m. I finish work at about 5:30, so I'll come home and do that preview, do my tips. Now, I'm going to say this before I do my tips. I finished 7th out of 20 in my family tipping comp last year, and I came second to my mate Josh in the Hooked on a Feeling iTip Footy Championship, which I take overly seriously. Very disappointed that we lost that, the Diamond Dogs. But so my tipping last year was shit. Hoping that in season 2026, my tipping is very consistent and we go all the way. The Diamond Dogs premiers. I want to win that family trophy and the Hooked on a Feeling Cup. Anyway, I better head off. 20 minutes of this podcast done and I'm rambling on. All right. Thank you very much for listening. Cheers.